So, and this is one of the crazy stories that I will try to summarize and to share more eventually as the days go by. So for sure, some of you remember that I've been invited like in April, May to an ayahuasca retreat. It was 4 days in a row en un lugar llamado Soltara en Costa Rica, in a place called Soltara in Costa Rica. So in that meeting, in that gathering, I met Navin, who is from the States, but also from its origin. His origin is from India, and in this gathering, in this retreat, we connected because we had links related to my life in Scandinavia 900 years ago. So one of the things that I received in that ceremony was that I had to go to the North Pole, but in order to get there first, I needed to go to Valhalla. He's here behind. Está acá atrás. And when I said that, he told me my house is called Valhalla. So of course I decided that I had to go to his house. So this place, this house is close to Salt Lake in Utah, and which is the crown chakra of the father, the great father Mexico. So it was, of course, relatable to go there. So he walked me through the house, and in the garden there was a stone that he said, I would like for you to tell me something about the stone, because it rolled from up in the mountain, and I think it's special, and we have to do something with it. So in that moment, something very weird happened to me that I never experienced before, which was like my body turned like in a human weird stuff, like humanoid, but the head was an ant man. And the Ant-Man said something specific, which was February 2nd, 2024, the doors are going to be open. Don't miss it. And when he said that, he pulled up another rock, and under there was an ant nest with many ants carrying the eggs, many eggs. And then the message was, but before you go to the door for that day, you have to look for the 144 lost runes that are hidden in the temples of humanity under the ground that we have carved, and look for the eggs with the codes within. So that was the message. The message ended, and then when we came back home a few hours later, Frida, another friend in common, she appeared, and we tell the story of what happened, and she said, "Oh, that's a door in Sedona. It's Palatki, the red door, and it has an ant-man carved on the door." So I had no idea that that place existed. I have no idea about that. So we said, okay, we have to let it go and just wait, and maybe February 2nd we will meet and, I don't know, connect there. So we planned our trip to be here today. So what I had no idea about was something that then Frida told us, which was that she has a teacher, Marza, that she's the keeper of the door since many years, and she works with a Hopi taking care of the door, and every February 2nd they gather at the door to do meditations, because every time it opens a little bit more. And the reason why February 2nd is because it's the middle point or the gate of time between the solstice in December and the equinox in March. So there was another important message there. So the day, December 21st, we were going to the Great Pyramid for the solstice. And when we were about to enter the pyramid that night, a little group come out from the pyramid, and it was the group of Damanhur. So the people from Damanhur was coming outside. Damanhur is a place in Italy, in Torino, and Damanhur is called like that because of the city of light in the delta of the Nile. Damanhur. So what happened there at the door of the pyramid? Crotalo, who is, its name means rattlesnake. He came and said, Matias, we were looking for you to invite you to Damanhur. And I said, yeah, I would love to go. When can you go? So January. Okay, let's go in January. Perfect. So there was something that was the message that we received in the pyramids, and during the whole time, it was healing something through time. There was, time is broken, they said. Something is broken in time, so we have to repair it. So the message was that. And we went to Torino with that idea. As a summary, so we arrived the 9th of January to do an activity on the 10th, just to visit, from my point of view. So that same week, Naveen wrote to me and said, what are we doing with the runes, with information that we have to look for? How we have to get ready for the Sedona opening door? So I said, oh yeah, I forgot about it. So I'm going to be in Torino, visiting the temple. If you want to come, we can talk about it here. So in that moment, we realized, well, he realized that the temples of Damanhur are temples carved under the earth, and they are called the temples of humanity. And so it was exactly the same as the message of the Ant-Man. So when we arrived there, we had a meeting with the people in Damanhur, and they said, it's crazy that you have come here today to do this task, because Falco, the person that started the project of Damanhur, that already passed away a few years ago, he used to write letters to open in specific moments, even after his death. And one of the letters that he left was for the day January 10th, 2024, which was the day that we were supposed to do our thing there. So what the letter was saying was that that day there was something that we needed to do related to fixed time in the temples. So of course, the doors of Damanhur were open for us to do this task. So so this takes us to one of the chambers there, which is the chamber of water, and there was, the walls were painted fully by the creator of Damanhur, and it was a whole painting of eggs holding codes inside of it. So it was full with those eggs connected by positives and negatives, like electrical charges. And it was all a map of all of that with all these different codes. And in the middle, in between, all names from Indian gods and Egyptian gods. So it was exactly what we were looking for, this connection between India and Egypt. So the data of this, of what happened there, I rather write it down because we don't have much time now. So it's a lot of info. So I will share with you in the writing. So we did our task. So there was another detail. Sorry, I forgot. in one of the chambers that usually people don't go, we were walking through the paintings that are spectacular, beautiful. And one of the last things that she showed us was this nest of ants that are walking in the wall, and they write "Io sono," which means "I am." So it was like the confirmation. The ants are saying, "Here you can find the eggs. Here you can find the codes that you need." And one of the funny things that happened was that um, uh, Crotalo, rattlesnake, he said, "I don't know why, but I feel that I have to give you something to the four of you. Something that I bought many years ago, and I don't know why." And it was four Viking rings from 900 years ago, which was exactly the same story that connected us with Navin at first in 2023. So we used the rings for the entire activation. So this is a summary, of course, because soon we have to leave, and we are going to the door. So as I said at the beginning of the video, there was here in we started everything on February 2nd, 2020, with the door of time, opening the door of time, and then as a reflection in February 22nd, 2022, opening the door of space. Okay, so the amazing thing is that here in Palatki there are also two doors, one 5 miles away, one from the other, and so it's the opening of time and the opening of space. And I think that today a door is going to be open for all of us. I don't know exactly what. So I wanted to share this story before I go there, because I wanted for all of you to hold the energy for this opening, because we have been for years these little ants of consciousness. So we don't know exactly what this portal is, but everything is taking me to this portal. And by saying this, I wanted to say something related to portals. So there is a lot of information about what a portal is. If it's from darkness, if it's something from light, you shouldn't open a portal, you shouldn't do this or whatever. There's a lot of information about that. But actually a portal is just a portal, which means it's a door. So a door in a house, a door in a room is something that you just open, and it's you who decide what enters and what comes out from this door. So you have heard for sure these kind of sentences in life, which are you cannot live with your doors open, with your doors closed. You have to open your doors. You have to open yourself to something new. If you are waiting for something new and all your doors are closed, so there's no transformation. Okay, so we need to open doors in order to receive the new. If we are afraid of doors, we will never know what is coming from the outside. And of course, all these stories wouldn't be happening.
Mahasa 2020, I started to make videos. I would always write the script. I would hire a voice artist. You know, I put a lot of effort into it. I don't do that anymore. But I made this video, and this video led me to being able to participate in this sacred ceremony on the 2nd of February in Sedona with the Hopi people, and I will explain that. And so when I made this video in 2020, I got immediately contacted by a woman. Her name is Marza, who is deeply connected to the Hopi people. And we have been in touch ever since. Marza has an interesting story where her father in Sedona, when he was a little kid, somewhere after the year 1900, was adopted by the native people because he lost his white parents. And so he grew up with the native people. And so Marza is allowed to actually still visit with the Hopi people in a very, I would say, private way, and to also visit places on the Hopi land in Arizona that normally are not open to anyone, not to anyone who's not of the Hopi tribe. And so a few really days ago, before February 2nd, I was texting with Marza, and she told me she is going to Sedona with a group of people where they will be meeting with the Hopi people, and it was not a public event. And she said that they have a task, and the task was to activate a front door and a back door. And she gave me some more information about it. The funny thing is, if you guys know Matías De Stefano, I put his picture also in the email that I sent, that Matias was told by his guides that he had to be in Sedona to open some doors. And somehow people connected him to Marza. And so he was also invited to participate, to be, he has a show on Gaia. So it happened to be that we ended up both as participants of Marza's gathering with the Hopi people, and we had other native people there as well, but also Marza's students. And so I started to receive dreams and instructions about what's going to happen in Sedona. And I was visited every night before the 2nd of February by the Hopi people, mainly women. And they were giving me instructions, and they were giving me a map, and they were telling me about the front door, the back door, and the energy. And so if you have been to Sedona, Sedona is a very hard opening portal to the new earth. Now, I have known since 2020, since different information came to me from the Hopi people, that Sedona actually is exactly what it is. It's a portal, and that Sedona, if you've been, it's beautiful, but it also exists in higher realms, and we would call it the new earth. So you will find the same Sedona, but without the homes and without the infrastructure, of course, as pure nature on the new earth. So as I started to receive all the information, I was always making little drawings, and I got so excited that I am actually able to participate, and that Marza would take me with her to Sedona, to the hidden, portals, and to the Hopi land. So what unfolded was pretty incredible. I knew from my Hopi grandmother from the stars that the key to all things in this lifetime is to have a clean heart. Now, this is what the Hopi people actually spoke about to us as well, the clean heart versus unclean heart. Now, when I was 4 years old, my initiation was all about, in this lifetime, we need to actually purify our hearts, to once again reunite all life. The Hopi people took us to something that is, again, not open to public at all. They took us to their prophecy rock. And the prophecy rock has all the stories as petroglyphs written onto it. And it is about what happens when the heart becomes unclean, and how it leads to complete, eventually destruction of a world, because it leads to the distortion of human love and humanity. So they took us to these amazing places, and I wanted to point out that the Hopi people have always been guided by these supernatural beings from higher realms that they themselves call kachinas. Now, I always thought, kachinas, they seem to have kind of like masks on their faces. But when I was in Sedona in 2021, I got actually visited by the kachinas themselves. And again, they showed me what's happening to planet Earth. And so, deep down, we have this DNA that leads us to these origins. So we are always connected to our star origin. And for us, that would be the Hopi people here that I share about. And so the kachinas have been very, very active in actually assisting the earth to ascend. And so the earth has been ascending into more and more and more light. We are now in a world where we are receiving so much more light. Now I'm skipping here a little bit through the slides, so please forgive me. When the Hopi people visited me, these women, a few nights ago before going to Sedona for the 2nd of the 2nd, they gave me this kind of map and they asked me to draw it, so I did. So I'll explain it. So they said there is door 1, the first door, the first portal, and behind it is the second door, the second portal. And the flow between these portals to the new earth, is actually only partially liberated. But in the middle, you see there was like a big chunk. I have the infinity symbol on it. And this flow has been completely frozen. So this is not the first time that we receive instructions about frozen flow, frozen energy. Same thing happened in Ohio at the Serpent Mound. And so they showed me how actually our presence will be absolutely needed. And they specifically told me several days before going to Sedona that I needed to be at the back door, and the back door is the second door, because there was a being who has been trying to fix the second portal, and you see it needed 2 different fixes. It was broken in 2 different places. And so I spoke to the being who told me this, and it was a male being who was working in the ethers, and he didn't have enough success in fixing this. But these Hopi women showed me how this can be fixed. And so I knew I have to be at the back door. But it was Marza that was deciding who's going to be at which door. It was about 34 of us in total. And so I was hoping that I'm going to be at the back door. They showed me how the flow between the 2 doors, actually, because it's frozen, needs to be defrosted by the fire of like the burning fire of spirit that actually can be ignited at the base of the spine if we move in the infinity symbol. Now, for you who have been, following these teachings for a while, you know how Divine Mother in 2020 gave us a transmission of how to activate through the infinity symbol at the base of the spine. So all of this was delivered before going to Sedona. So when we arrived in Sedona, it was quite miraculous. I just made this little diagram to explain this. We met with the Hopi people, and the Hopi people talked about the back door as Honanki and the front door as Palatki. Now, it was raining so much the day we arrived. It even started to snow. And the back door and the front door, they are about, I would say, maybe at least an hour, 4-wheel drive in the mud. So we had to drive through roads that were not even roads, you just had to drive through the mud. It was really crazy, but we did it. So Marza told me that I'm going to be at the front door and Matias was going to be at the front door. So I was at the back door, and he was going to be at the front door. So they split us in 2 halves. And so I was driving to the back door and just praying that we can make it through the mud, because it was really not easy. So we ended up at the back door and we started to meditate. And then the people at the front door, it was so far away from each other, you couldn't see anything. But what we saw was this is where the back door is. And what happened as we started to meditate was pretty incredible. I don't think I have a picture here, but again, I put it in the photos. It is a rainbow started to rise from this mountain. And that was quite incredible. It would just be rainbow light. I actually want to see if I have the picture here, because I would love for you to see it, but I forgot to put it in the slides. Let me quickly look, if you don't mind. It just was so magical. I'm going to look in a moment. I cannot find it right now. But as we were meditating, and I was just doing what I knew from the Hopi people to do, I was following exactly the instructions. I was just, activating the fire within the spine, fixing what I would call the back door with the 2 fixes that I was told that we could do. Then rainbow just started to rise from this rock here at the back door. And I started to receive transmissions that were like super clear and loud in the head. And this is what I think is the most important part of today's transmission. I just wanted to put it into context. So as we were meditating there, you know, it was pouring, it was snowing, it was so uncomfortable. I took my shoes off because that's what we do, right? When we want to connect with the earth. And I wanted to show you also the front door. So Serena, I don't know if she's here on the call, she sent me what Matias posted on Instagram from the front door, so I'll play it.
Here in different places, but again, this is the solar calendar. You could see the markings. If you watch the Zoom video, you will see this. I put the filter on for it, so you'll see the layers after layers after layers. It looks like Casper the ghost. Not. This is the threshold guardian. So here we're talking about the energy and layers of time, and we've got a threshold.
So yeah, Romina, thank you. You posted the picture of the rainbow rising. That's amazing because that's what happened. Suddenly, as we were meditating, you know, the rainbow appeared in front of the rock, the back door. And so I was receiving so much information at the back door as this was liberated. It was pretty incredible. So again, you know, everybody wanted to be at the front door, but I thought, you know, I knew that it's the back door that actually holds the key. And so the back door had to defrost the energy, had to liberate the energy, and it had to connect the infinity symbol between the front and the back. And it had to be down through the fire at the base of the spine, the true burning volcano that Divine Mother has been speaking about for so long. It's really incredible. And so this is what I received. And I would say this is the really breakthrough information of what happened on the 2nd of February.